The conspiracy deepens. They deny it still.
Wake the fuck up!
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
So with this first part of this clip right here, we're going to concentrate on the first target that s1mple shoots, because the second target really doesn't have anything suspicious in it. He just kind of shoots him in the face. The first target, however, has got a few things that I want to point out. On the left side of the screen is view recoil tracking 0, which means that I've turned the recoil effects off of the gun, so we're seeing strictly the mouse movements on the left side, and on your right side, you're seeing the shot vector of what they're actually aiming at. You can also see the recoil decay on the right side after you shoot your weapon if you're not controlling the recoil. On the left side, you'll notice that immediately after he shoots, his crosshair jumps back to the target. I would consider this an afterlock. And then shortly after that, he locks onto the target again. Now what's happening here is that he's shooting his weapon, immediately locking back onto the target, waiting for the recoil decay of the shotgun to finish, and then locking back onto the target again, immediately once the recoil decay is done. Meaning that the recoil effect from the first shot of the shotgun has reset. And then there's another afterlock after the second shot. It's small, but he's still adjusting to the target immediately after shooting him. We also have an example of overaim, like you see here on the third option, on his second shot. And again, the afterlock after he shoots him. Up next, we got some crazy circles coming from s1mple, and to be honest, I don't think he did any of those movements. I think all of that was the aimbot. These high-level private cheats are designed in such a way that you can have a high field of view and it still look very human, because they have all these different parameters on target swapping. Cheat developers also use something called a bezier curve when developing cheats, because they don't want their aimbot to aim in a straight line. They want to have point A, point B, and then curve along that path at other control points. Which is what you're seeing here when s1mple's drawing these circles. Because the aimbot already knows where all the targets are on the map. It's just waiting on a target to become available so that it could shoot at it. As soon as the target in the back breaks the threshold of the wall is when s1mple starts his circles. But it doesn't end there, because the second target that's closest to him steps around the corner also, and he starts aiming towards him. But the bot doesn't shoot at either one of the targets because they step back behind the wall, and it knows not to shoot a target behind a wall. But when he does start shooting, you're going to see an adjustment before the first shot, and then you're going to see him wait on the recoil to reset again. And if you'll watch the right side of your screen, you'll notice that as the recoil is resetting, once it reaches the target's head, he adjusts his crosshair to the right and does a flick shot onto the target. And then after he shoots, he accidentally locks onto the target next to him. And the reason that happened is because he jumped up from behind the wall and became an available target for a second. He ends up killing this guy, and then we have another afterlock on this next target, but it's in the form of another bezier curve. And remember, this is 10% of the game speed. Something else that jumps out at me is the fact that he locks onto the target right before he crouches. And if you watch the right side of your screen, which again is the view recoil tracking set to 1, which is the shot vector that this guy's aiming at, you're going to see that when he crouches, he locks onto the guy's head. And the only reason why he didn't shoot at him is because he ran out of ammo. And then the last thing I want to point out is that we have a possible lock during a weapon switch. And this is a pretty decent clip to point out why you would want to aim lock during a weapon switch. Because you run out of ammo in your primary and you switch to your secondary. And it locks onto the target, and s1mple can't maintain tracking the target, but you can see him locking onto the target as he switches his weapon and cocks his pistol. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button or the dislike button and leave a comment down below. Big shout out to all my Patreon supporters for doing their thing and making all this possible. And if you want to have your say in the next players to be reviewed, or if you're interested in early access to the videos I put out, make sure you check out my Patreon page for available options.